Certainly, in Christian theology, the concepts of hell, the lake of fire, and outer darkness are often interpreted as descriptions of the final destination for those who reject Christ. These terms appear in various parts of the New Testament and seem to describe a state of eternal separation from God. Lake of fire. The term lake of fire is mentioned in the book of Revelation, Revelation 19:20, 20:10, 14, 15, Irbationiyete. It is portrayed as a place of final judgment where the devil, the beast, the false prophet, and those whose names are not written in the book of life are cast. Gehenna, hell. Jesus frequently uses the term Gehenna to describe hell, e.g. Matthew 10:28, Mark 9:43, Luke 12:5. Gehenna was originally a physical location outside Jerusalem associated with idolatry and child sacrifice, but Jesus uses it metaphorically to refer to a place of eternal punishment. Outer darkness. Jesus also refers to outer darkness in parables, e.g. Matthew 8:12, 22:13. This term conveys a sense of exclusion and profound separation from God's kingdom, often accompanied by weeping and gnashing of teeth. Common themes: eternal separation. All these terms point towards a state of complete and eternal separation from God. Judgment. They are associated with divine judgment and are portrayed as the final outcome for those who reject God's salvation through Christ. Imagery of suffering. Descriptions often include imagery of fire, darkness, and suffering to emphasize the severity of this state. While the terms may differ in their imagery and context, they collectively underscore the gravity of rejecting Christ and the resulting eternal consequences. In summary, hell, the lake of fire, and outer darkness are all biblical terms that describe a state of eternal separation from God, underscoring the consequences of rejecting Christ's salvation. The concept of the lake of fire, described in the Bible, is the ultimate and final punishment for sin, representing total separation from God. Known as the second death, it signifies a state of perpetual suffering and misery. According to Revelation 20:15, "And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Anyone whose name is not found in the book of life will be cast into the lake of fire." This fate also awaits the beast and the false prophet from the end times. Revelation 19:20. "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone, as well as Satan. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever." Revelation 20:10. Furthermore, Revelation 20:14. "And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death." States that death and Hades, the temporary abode of the unsaved dead, will also be thrown into the lake of fire. This imagery underscores the severity and eternal nature of the judgment awaiting those who are not aligned with God according to Christian eschatological beliefs. The concept of hell, as described in religious texts like the Bible, goes beyond mere physical descriptions of fire and flames. While imagery of torment through fire is common, hell is fundamentally characterized as a place of profound torment rather than physical torture. According to Matthew 25:41, "Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels." It was initially intended for spiritual beings rather than humans. The true anguish of hell lies in an eternity of conscious separation from God and all forms of goodness, engulfing the soul in guilt and shame. This separation makes hell far more terrifying than any physical inferno, as it encapsulates a spiritual and emotional suffering that is far deeper and more enduring. The Bible often describes hell using vivid imagery and symbols, such as the lake of fire, to convey its nature. However, it offers limited direct explanations of what hell actually is in precise terms. These symbolic descriptions help to communicate the severity and the spiritual reality of hell, but they leave room for interpretation regarding its exact nature. Fire is often used as a symbol of God's judgment in the Bible. This symbolism arises from various instances where fire is depicted as a tool of divine punishment. For example, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Genesis 19:24. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and the defeat of Elijah's enemies by fire from heaven, 2 Kings 1:12. And Elijah answered and said unto them, If I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Serve as vivid illustrations of this theme. Prophets frequently portrayed God with a stream of fire emanating from his throne, signifying his righteous punishment of sin, e.g., Daniel 7:10. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. Isaiah 30:33. For Tophet is ordained of old, yea, for the king it is prepared. He hath made it deep and large. The pile thereof is fire and much wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, doth kindle it. The ultimate destiny of those who reject God is described as a lake of fire, emphasizing the severity of divine judgment. This imagery underscores the seriousness of God's final judgment, portraying it in the most terrifying terms. When God finally eradicates sin and death, all unrepentant sinners will face the most dreadful fate, as depicted in biblical descriptions of divine retribution.